The MCU is in danger. And Disney is pulling out the big guns because, let's face it, the latest phase of Marvel's cinematic universe is not going great. So what do you do? What do you do when you're not getting the participation you want? When the viewers aren't showing up, when the fans aren't there? If you are a band, right? And the people in the crowd, they're not loving your new stuff. What do, Shane?
Play an oldie, baby.
You play the hits, baby. When you aren't feeling it from the fans, you got to bring back in Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man. Bring them back. You got to play the hits. You got to drop those old singles that everyone could dance to. And this is the time, because the latest phase of Marvel has not been going great. Let's face it, it has not been going great. We're all, even the most hardcore Marvel apologists out there are like, yeah, it's all right.
So is that why it seems like everything that comes out now is playing the hits from something old? Because there's hardly any new content that comes out that doesn't, everything is nostalgic. Everything is, so is that what happens? They can't get people's attention, can't create a good story without bringing back the superstar?
No, see, to further use my brilliant band analogy, I believe wholeheartedly that if your skill is still there, a la Red Hot Chili Peppers, you can keep creating music that will become a classic one day. But sometimes bands aren't really hitting on the same level, aka Rage Against the Machine. Boy, did they fall off, right? They kept playing though for like a decade. Anyone know the new stuff? No? Because it fell off. If your skill level remains intact and your style continues to evolve in a positive direction, then you can get new fans. I would tell you, Iron Man wasn't in 2009. He wasn't. He was a new thing. No one really knew who Iron Man was, at least not cinematically for sure. Never on the big screen, right? He wasn't even a huge player in the comics, right?
He was a song
in comparison.
By Black Sabbath,
right? He was a song by Black Sabbath. Here's the deal: they made a hit. Captain America was a well-known quantity, but they made a hit. They kept making hits, and now they're not making hits. It's fallen off after Endgame. So they gotta bring back in. They gotta go back to their roots, like the Beatles said in Yellow Submarine. You gotta go back to the roots and discover something new, but also classic. And I believe that Marvel, with Avengers: Secret War and Armor Wars or whatever, I believe they're gonna be bringing them back. People were saying, well, maybe he's gonna come back as the voice of the helmet in, for Riri Williams Ironheart character. Yeah. Think about that for a minute. When you get Robert Downey Jr., you are paying an insane amount of money for this guy. You're not going to get him just for the helmet head heart. When they got him for his cameo for Spider-Man, it cost them like $30 million. Like, it was an insane amount of money.
Really?
Or $10 or $15 million, something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but it was high. Here's the deal. Like, if they're paying him to be in it, he's going to be Iron Man. He's not going to be a disembodied voice of Iron Man. So I believe through, multiverse shenanigans and whatnot.
I hate that. I already hate it, though. God.
True. But I do believe that through the multiverse shenanigans, perhaps, or maybe because the Krill or the Skrull, whatever, we're going to get some version of Iron Man, whether it's a Skrull or it's because they can't defeat Kang, they need to get the band back together, and you get like Captain America, and you get like the whole crew together. Perhaps. And maybe it's dumb. Maybe it makes no sense, like, logically. Maybe it's all multiverse time travel bullcrap. But I'm down to see them on screen again together. Because,
I'm not.
Well, let me tell you why I want to see
Okay, I want to hear why you say, and then I want to tell you why I think it's a bunch of bull.
No, I don't. Ironheart is a bad character. It doesn't make any sense. Like almost all the new characters are not superheroes. They're just sort of shadows of superheroes, and it doesn't work. We have outside of DC, there. In fact, DC is changing, but there isn't really any new superheroes. Even Miss Marvel, the TV series, which should have been better, she's not really a superhero. All these people are just like they're like sidekicks, acting, cosplaying as actual superheroes on screen, and for like 5 movies now, it just hasn't worked.
Well, I would say that the first Iron Man movie, Tony Stark wasn't a superhero.
Right, but you know what? He had a superhero mentality.
Maybe.
He wasn't, Tony Stark built that armor in a cave. Right?
Right.
He built it himself. It was a character study. He changed in real time on screen to become the hero we saw. Riri Williams was just sort of handed, this role.
True, but it's in all fairness to Riri, she was in Wakanda Forever, and there was no build. It was not her movie,
right? Which is another problem.
And she's the one who built. She did the building. Okay, she was gifted the part right from Iron Man or something,
right?
But she's the one who built the special thing in Wakanda that allowed the thing to happen. She has a skill, a talent, but I don't think she got an opportunity to really pull it together.
It's also not believable that like a 16-year-old has that ability.
And that's part of the problem. Like Tony Stark was a man who owned a giant, he was a billionaire. Like there's a whole bunch of things there that line him up to be the character. So they chose to do this Ironheart, which is a side character. People don't have the thing. But here's my problem with bringing back any of the old characters. You can do it, but Tony Stark, absolutely not. He's dead, guys. Right. He's dead. Tony Stark is gone. If you bring him back, it ruins Endgame, in my opinion.
Good point.
It ruins the greatest ending to a saga that we've seen. It cheapens it. You cannot bring him back. Okay, you can hand the reins to somebody else, which granted won't be great. You can do something else with the Iron Man suit, but I don't think you can bring back Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. I don't think it works.
Well, I mean, I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. I do think that I agree. It's going to cheapen the end of that saga for sure. But I don't know what else they can do. Oh wait, no, I do. Maybe have the guy who has been in the background in every Iron Man movie and Avengers movie as an Iron Man, Don Cheadle, played by an actor who is multiple award-winning, actor.
Yes.
Oh, maybe have him do it.
Yes, War Machine. Come on.
He's still alive. I don't know. Why are we skipping over this guy? What's going on right now?
I mean, there's people whose stories aren't done that they can still utilize. They did the thing that they're not supposed to do. They didn't properly hand off. They didn't do the turnover. They could have. You could have done Thor and created a likable replacement of some sort and let Thor go off and retire, and now somebody else takes over. But we like it. There needs to be a handoff. There's no handoffs taking place. There should have been the character handoff to somebody else.
No reasonable ones, because even the Captain America handoff is bad. Because they go, we're going to hand it off to the Falcon, but he refuses to, even though he's offered, he refuses to take like the super soldier serum. So you're saying he's just a regular guy with a shield? Okay,
yeah, that's tough.
Well, then maybe hand it to the guy who has the super soldier serum, Bucky. Maybe have him be the next Captain America. He already has it. He's already proved himself. He's already been redeemed. Give him the shield. Make him Captain America. Oh no, it's got to go to Falcon. Why? Why does it have to go to the guy who will?
Well, we know why.
Who's a regular? We know. Yeah, but that's a stupid reason.
We know why.
It's a regular guy. He shouldn't be. I didn't even know you can throw the shield if you weren't a superhero. I thought you had to have super strength or something. Like, it makes no sense. It cheapens the role too. It really does. So you skip over War Machine and go straight for this teenager, right? And you skip over, you dumbly not select Bucky in favor of Falcon, who's not a superhero.
Right.
You tease the Love and Thunder swap with Thor: Love and Thunder, and then completely back out of that because you realize that that's not a good idea considering there was
a good handoff.
Right.
Jane was not a good handoff.
Right. So like if you want your universe to continue and these characters to continue, you have to do proper handoffs. You do.
Right.
You can't sloppily throw things together because it checks boxes, man. It's stupid.
Well, Atheist for the Cause says an interesting thing here. You mean like the 007 handoff with a nice little smirk. The problem with 007 is you don't need to hand off 007. You just need to pick another 007 that's correct for the character. So, you don't gender swap or race swap the character necessarily. I mean, you could probably race swap the character. Like, James Bond is, I can imagine a couple of
Idris Elba
actors. Idris Elba would make a great James Bond. And maybe there's a female character who could play James Bond, but the problem is it's a guy, James Bond.
Right.
So it probably should be a guy playing James Bond. So I wouldn't say that's a handoff as much as, look, you had Roger Moore, you had Pierce Brosnan, you had Timothy Dalton, you had the new guy, which is now a Glass Onion or Knives Out guy.
Yeah. We had Sean Connery. Don't forget Sean Connery.
And Sean Connery back in the day. Just pick a new great James Bond and let's move on. But with Marvel, you can't really pick a new Thor. It's not the way it works. You can't really pick a new Iron Man. Daniel Craig. You can't just pick a new person to play the role because, the story has been told so that it's ending. James Bond movies end. They're capsulated stories. And then they go and have another story next time.
Right.
The Marvel universe has grown and the characters have changed. Things have happened that carry on to the next films. It's very hard to just replace them with someone else.
Right.
Can you imagine somebody else playing Thor besides Chris Hemsworth?
Yeah, no, I can't.
It makes it hard.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you would hand it off. You would have to hand it off. It would have to be handed off via multiple movies. It couldn't be just like a.
Yeah, you need to. You want to hear what you really have to do if you want to have a new Thor? You got to reboot the damn thing.
Yeah. No,
and we're too close. Can't reboot it now. Maybe 10 years, maybe 15 years from now, you can reboot.
Right.
But you can't do it now. No,
yeah. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have him have a kid or something like that. It's got to take, after like 4 or 5 more movies, then you can like introduce like the young Thor. I don't know. It's got to be a slow progress. It's got to be a realistic handoff. It can't just be. And again, on that same note, though, they fumble the handoff when there is a realistic handoff. When you do have War Machine sitting there, who's been a part of every movie, it's a perfect handoff. Why are you skipping over him? Bucky, a part of his entire story from the very first movie going forward, has the same serum. Why are we fumbling these easy hands off, and then we're trying to figure out a handoff for characters that maybe don't even require it right now? I don't know. It's weird.
Right. So instead of handing off, they're just going to maybe bring everybody back. Oh, just kidding. Psych. We'll continue the story with these characters.
Multiverse. So, he's part of, he didn't die in this universe. Instead, it was Doctor Strange or whatever.
I hate the multiverse, man. I mean, it makes for interesting stories, but I hate it being used as a device for change. I hate that.
Right. Well, regardless, we are going to see them play the greatest hits in Secret Wars and probably Armor Wars. So that's that. And of course, Liv Tyler is in talks to come back as Betty Ross. And while I love me some Liv Tyler, absolutely gorgeous, I completely forgot she was even Betty Ross in The Incredible Hulk. So I literally didn't. I forgot about that movie. It's been a long time. Although I watched a documentary recently about how insane that movie was, the Ed Norton Incredible Hulk, because Ed Norton had this idea to make the Incredible Hulk like this character study and this like, he wanted to make it a serious movie.
Right.
And the director wanted to make it like, you know, Batman and Robin movie where it was just we smash fun. And like them constantly coming to blows about certain things and trying to, him pushing his agenda and the studio pushing their agenda. And what you ended up with was like a movie that really doesn't know what it wants to be.
Yeah.
You have an actor who is acting his ass off to try to bring this character to life that's not real. He's trying to breathe like life and seriousness into this role. And everyone around him just throwing out one-liners, and there's like, pow, it's being going on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And then the studio has had enough because he wants to reshoot this role with him and Liv Tyler where it's going to cost another like $8 million and going to take another week. And it's all about like their love story. And they're like, no, just have them smash something.
And that's why Ed Norton is not in superhero movies anymore.
Oh yeah. And it's funny. Yeah, no, remember there was that Oscar thing where like, he actually got mad. He's like, I'm never coming back to this franchise ever again.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Listen, that's it for this. Hit the subscribe button on the way to the comment section. Let us know what you guys think about Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Iron Man. And to be clear, I love me some RDJ. That is my man. But I understand where Shane's coming from because we don't want to cheapen one of the greatest sagas we've ever seen.